Hey Chopper, this viewer's not subscribed.
Car D Kaizoku.
This video is sponsored by Nen Garden. Nen Garden is having a summer kickoff sale with prices slashed site-wide. And for a limited time, get a free playmat tube with every Sun God playmat you purchase, while supplies last. Also check out their Legends and Shadows collection. Use code CARDKaizoku for 8% off your order. This video is brought to you by Adakai TCG. Shop the latest in premium holographic textured custom One Piece cards. Designed for collectors, crafted to stand out. Use code CARDKaizoku for 15% off your next order. This video is sponsored by GumGum.gg. Discover Western OP10 lists and Eastern OP11 lists on GumGum.gg. Updated daily. Be the first to see decks for new leaders as they emerge. With over 1,000 deck lists per set, GumGum.gg has all the top strategies as soon as they drop. This video is sponsored by Card Market, Europe's largest online marketplace for trading card games. So the sim has updated for OP11 on the west and OP12 on the east. I wanted to wait for a full day's worth of data before recording this, so I'm recording it at like midnight, so excuse me if I'm a little quiet. Don't want to bother my neighbors, you know. But yeah, let's just take a look at the stats from my website, cardkaizoku.com. I have a bunch of stats here that I log from the sim. We're going to take a look at all the leaders in OP11, how they're doing, the new starter decks, how people are building it, and yeah, we're just going to try to look for any interesting stats that we can find. But first and foremost, there's a button to my match history now within the sim. So yeah, here, there's a button here. If you click it, it'll take you directly to your match history page because it'll pre-fill out your information in the URL bar. Just a little quicker way to get to your stats in particular. But the normal way you would do it before is you would go to match history and then you can just type your in-game name that you use, the last one you use. It'll show up everyone who has that name. I try to pick something unique so that I'm always the only one who shows up. So here's me. As you can see, I can identify myself because I know I played Purple Black Luffy. Click view matches and it'll show you by default 7 days of all your match history. In the past, it showed only the first 15 matches. I thought like, well, might as well be nice to everybody. So for free, you get 7 days of history. But if you want to see more than 7 days, then yeah, you do have to be a Kaizoku level patron to get access to that. But as a patron, also, you get access to the ability to see your starting hands that you played in each game here. You can also see your deck list here and check out which changes you made potentially do better into certain matchups or not. So yeah, that's all there. My personal stats, I've been playing Purple Black Luffy, as you can see, preparing for a video. But yeah, that's there if you need it. There's also like a full player stats if you want to see like all your match history. I'm gonna have to put like a button to separate when OP10 switched to OP11, so that's a work in progress thing, but this shows you every single match that you've played. It looks like I have an on average 55% win rate going first. I tend to do better going second, or at least I play decks that like to go second, it looks like. And my games usually only last 6 turns. Okay, that's interesting to know. I don't like to drag things on. So yeah, we'll take a look at the leader rankings. So this is day 1 of OP11 on the west. This is with the starter decks active. This is a completely different meta than Japan had because they didn't have access to the starter decks for their OP11, right? So it was full of Blue Purple Luffy and then Bello Betty. It looks like on our end now, yeah, again, this is only a day's worth of data. We can see here by the weighted win rate, this takes into account the play rate of the deck, not just the raw win rate. So we have Bonney at first, Green Purple Luffy at second, Purple Luffy at third, Shanks at fourth, Purple Black at fifth, Blue Purple at sixth, Zoro and Bello Betty at 7th and 8th. The aggro decks stay together. Buggy at 9th. This is a completely new revelation, new flips the script on its head, right? Japan didn't have to deal with this guy. Green Yellow Law also up here. Nami at 11th. And then Red Green Smoker, Enel, Yamato coming up after that. And then Kobe shows up in the top 15. So that makes up your top 15. Teach at 16th as well. Now Teach might be kind of deflated in these stats because I think Teach is one of the hardest decks to play. So just due in part by the fact this is all sim games, all skill levels, you're gonna see a lot of the bad Teaches make up the statistics here. But I am working on a way to potentially filter low kind of play level games out. Still work in progress, it's coming, but yeah, just want to let you guys know it's being addressed actively. But yeah, if we take a look at it by play rate, the most played leaders, Buggy is the most played leader for this one day, followed by Purple Black, followed by Blackbeard, Yamato, and then Blue Purple Luffy. So we see all the decks that got new starter deck cards show up as the top 4 here. And then of course Blue Purple Luffy because he's the boogeyman that we've been waiting for, that we saw from the Japanese side of things. And then Green Yellow Law above Bonney, that's really interesting, right? It seems like Green Yellow Law benefited more from Bonney's cards than Bonney did herself. And then even Shanks, just due to the fact that he's that last starter deck that they released. So you see increase in Shanks for now, just people want to try out the cards, right? I expect this to like even out and teeter out as the meta progresses. Then Green Purple Luffy, who people saw was like the number 2 deck in the East coming into OP11. And then interestingly, Nami over Purple Luffy. I thought Purple Luffy would be pretty high as well. And then Kobe right after that. So Kobe actually has a different time in this current meta just due to the fact that like these are the most popular decks now. It's not the Luffy decks that he like completely gets obliterated by. So yeah, I might have to revisit the Kobe video. Things are different now for sure. Then of course Zoro up here too. Oh, where's Bella Betty? Oh yeah, above here. And Lucci's still top 16 at least, right? Because Lucci by the end of the Japanese OP11 meta was like an anti-blue purple Luffy deck, so it kind of makes sense that he's still up here in terms of play rate at least. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the individual leader stats. So we'll just go top to bottom, yeah. So Bonney being our most winningest leader, and that's probably due to in part to the fact that she's relatively simple to play, but also really strong. I think that starter decks really helped her deck out. Now, going by starting hands, it's not too different, right? You have the Cavendish that you want to prioritize, and then the Searcher Bonney. Kidding Killer also up here now, and then Carrot seems to be the card of choice now over the 5-cost Smoker. It seems like has like a equal win rate going first or second, so that's really cool. But oh yeah, only 2,300 games to base this statistic off of for now. For now though, it's only going to increase. Yeah, the best matchup she has is against Purple Black Luffy, and then the worst one she has is against Shanks. This has historically been true. I think all her weak matches are what we expect, right? But then does she gain anything new? Yeah, due to in part by the fact that Yamato and Green Yellow Law and the Purple Black Luffy got more popular because of starter decks, Bonney seems to do really well against them. Let's take a look at what a sample Bonney list is being used on the sim, what you guys are playing. So I have it separated into 3 categories: top performing, most piloted, and then most played. So most piloted is how many people use a deck, and then most played is how many games were played with that deck, and then of course top performing is like a mix between the two. So I picked this Bonney deck as the best performing one. Take a look at it. It has a 68.2% win rate with 22 games played among 4 different people, and it actually doesn't look too different from my list. Wait, is this me? No, I didn't play 22 games, so I don't think this is me, but I swear this is exactly the list I used in my like testing video. But hey, maybe somebody saw it and then tried it out, and it actually does pretty well, it looks like. Right? I was doing pretty well with it in my testing video as well, so maybe I accidentally figured out the best Bonney list right away. No, I don't think so, but I think people are just using my video as like a starting off point, so it makes sense. But yeah, the fact that it has a 68% win rate is pretty crazy. And yeah, I guess you could see that video if you want to see my thoughts on the list more, but yeah, I do like a lot of Beppo in the end compared to when I first saw it. The only thing I'm still unsure of is the Basil Hawkins plus Smoker interaction. Okay, and yeah, I just noticed there was like a visual bug where these drop downs showed up above the card image. I fixed it mid video. So what was I talking about? Oh, let's just move on to the next leader. I already forgot. Oh, also, while I'm here, there's mobile support on my deck builder now. In case you guys don't know, I made it mobile friendly. So if you go to the deck builder from your phone, it's a lot nicer now to navigate. You click the buttons on the bottom to open the card search, the card stats, and then like the normal buttons that you normally see for the options. So yeah, just thought I should share that. Oh, yeah, you can also like click into a card to see the details too. Let me know if it works for you, if there's any bugs. I developed it with my own phone in Chrome. I'm pretty sure depending on what browser you're using and what phone you're using, things might be different, but I only have one phone to test with. Okay, let's take a look at, I guess we might as well look at Green Purple Luffy, even though I don't think he gets anything new at all. So yeah, has a good win rate going first or second, good into all the starter decks it looks like, and then loses to Kobe. So Kobe might actually have a place in the meta if Green Purple stays dominant. Loses to Lucci pretty handedly too, and then the 2 aggro decks, and then yeah, Blue Purple Luffy doesn't seem to be as oppressive right off the bat on day 1, so we could see more Green Purple on our end actually. Let's take a look at some deck lists. So 35 games from 8 different pilots, 68% win rate on this particular deck. Okay, so 3 Luffy Taro, and then 2 Luna, 2 Knife. 2 Knife is really heavy into the combat focused tech. Yeah, it's just pretty standard otherwise, right? Everything else looks like what you'd expect, as we've seen since EB02. Take a look at Purple Luffy. I'm pretty sure Purple Luffy also, nothing too different. Has a really big discrepancy in first win rate versus second win rate. Going first 66%, going second 43%. So you really want to go first with this deck. That makes it kind of risky to play. But yeah, starting hands, people keep the Katakuri just to have it guaranteed. I think you really do need to play him on your 8-on turn for the games that you do win, which is why it's so great to go first. And then you need the Mr. 2 to guarantee the ramp. I'm surprised I don't see the Zoro here. But yeah, also does pretty well into all the starter decks, except for Bonney. Bonney and Shanks, I think historically didn't do too well into Shanks anyway, but yeah, Bonney coming up into meta might make things a little weird for Luffy. Let's take a look at some deck lists. Okay, so 52 games by 11 pilots has a 48% win rate, but this one has 46 games with 7 pilots. Let's see, which one do we want to look at? Well, as we can see here, this is the traditional Luffy Taro build. They don't run the 9 moms at all. Whoa, people aren't running 9 moms anymore? That's crazy. I guess I gotta try it out without the 9 moms. It seems like that's what people are, like all 3 of these lists. This one only runs 1. But let's take a look at this one in more detail, just because my algorithm picked it as the best one. Shashi and Penguin has a 2k just as something you can play out instead of, what would they run instead of this though? Right, I guess, yeah, that makes sense that they're running it. Well, they're running a lot of 2ks actually. 14 2ks, really defensive. And yeah, Taro into Sangoro is still in the deck, as well as the Katakuri. Okay, interesting. A little different from how Japan played it, but this is Purple Luffy at the moment. Okay, let's take a look at some of the new starter decks. So Shanks is still up here. Let's see if the Shanks are even using the starter deck cards. I would assume there's like a bias towards saying yes, just due to the fact that everyone wants to try out the new cards. So yeah, at least the 9-cost Shanks mixed into the starting hands here at 18%. Actually has a decent matchup, like just his deck already is good into a lot of the other starter decks, it looks like. Except for Buggy. Oh my god, Buggy demolishes Shanks. And yeah, he has an incredibly bad matchup into Blue Purple Luffy. So really hostile meta for this guy, because Buggy was like the most played leader, and then Blue Purple is like what everyone expected to have to play against in this meta. But this top Shanks list is 35 games, 51% win rate with 12 people who played it. Let's take a look. Okay, it is using the 2 starter deck cards that are actually usable. So this one's a 2k. It's a cheap blocker you can play out anytime, and then this Shanks makes your leader a 7k. So I wasn't sure if this one was going to be good, but I guess since every Luffy deck in the meta is like a ramp deck right now, the Shanks gets a lot of value for you. Yeah, 2 of the 10-cost Shanks in favor of this Shanks. That's really interesting. And then I guess Dragon's a better top end, just because you can play it a turn earlier, and it's more aggressive. What else is interesting here? So it's not the removal build, because we have the Rush Luffy, and not the New Gates or the Marcos to kill stuff. Yeah, I might have to try this list out. It looks interesting. And I like running the Searcher, so at least this deck has a Searcher in it. Okay, we'll take a look at Purple Black. How are people building this deck? So, has a pretty good matchup overall, it looks like. Really only losing to Bonney. Oh my god, completely dies to Bonney. So many decks die to Bonney, I noticed. Like, incredibly hard. But yeah, starting hand, people keep that new Luffy, the new Robin as well. So let's take a look at the deck list. Okay, there's 2 to pick from here. This one has 265 games with 75 pilots. This one only has 75 games and 24 pilots, but has a higher win rate. Let's just go with the one that has way more games, like what, like quadruple would be more reliable, right? So what are they running? So they're running 2 Onami and 3 Frankie. I was thinking of also switching out some Frankies for Onamis. Yeah, from my match history, you can tell I'm testing this deck out right now. Runs 2 of the Rush Luffy. I run this as a higher quantity just because I like having it consistently. 8-cost category, and then the 9 Luffy for top end. Okay. Would they run the Searcher? I'm not too sure about that. I don't think you need it. I would rather run something else in this slot, like more Onamis or more of this Luffy, personally. But this person, these, how many people was it? 75 people are doing decent. It's 49% though. It's under 50. So I personally am gonna test with this cutout. But yeah, this is how people are building it. Oh, also only 2 Sanji. I run 4. But yeah, it's standard to run the Black Maria, Nico Robin, and Zoro just to get your like guaranteed turn 2 ramp now. Okay, Blue Purple Luffy is 6th. Has an incredibly high going first win rate, and then has a under 50% going second win rate. As we can see, dies to aggro, but also gets a new weakness in Buggy. What the hecky? And then Purple Black Luffy seems to have a good going second matchup into him, but going first, Blue Purple Luffy wins pretty handedly there. So let's take a look at the deck list. What you cooking with? So 61 pilots, 300 games. Looks pretty standard to me, right? I think this is how Japan left off with the deck. Right, Zorojuros, and then the gear seconds, and the Mr. 2s to ramp, get to 8. 1 pudding to be cheeky, and then tech cards in 2 Red Rock and 2 Raging Tiger Blade, Gravity, shut up, and then 3 God Thread. This looks like a very Japanese list. And then Zoro up next. This is probably just Animal Zoro, right? Yeah, completely diced to Buggy, just because the freaking shoe Buggy. Did we look at any Buggy lists yet? No, right? That's probably coming up soon. Dice to Bonney too. Ah, yeah, these two starter decks coming out in this meta means that Zoro is not going to have as good a time as he did in OP11 in Japan. That really does change things, huh? Yeah, but let's take a look at a Zoro list here. Yeah, basic animal build. Nothing new, so let's not waste any more time here. How are people building Bello Betty? Same, right? Bello Betty also dies his shoe Buggy in the Buggy deck, and Bonney, yeah, kind of aggro is not going to have a good time. Okay, so this is the highest play rate versus the win rate Bello Betty list here. It's pretty standard. Yeah, it's exactly what you would expect. Okay, Buggy. Interesting part now, right? New deck. So it has it going first win rate of 57, going second win rate of 46. So you do kind of want to go first. The new starter deck did make his going first curve like amazingly smooth and really good now. Completely demolishes Lucci, it looks like. Only dying to purple Luffy, green purple Luffy, green yellow Law, red green Smoker, Bonney, and Kobe. Yeah, Kobe being good into Buggy and Buggy being so popular as he is kind of changes things, right? But Kobe might be more relevant now than ever. But starting hands, it looks like people keep the Mr. 3s and then the 8 cost Meatcroc. That's like the best card in the deck now. And depending on which leader you're facing, the shoe Buggy is great to have. So let's take a look at some deck lists. So 517 games from 170 different pilots, 49% win rate. This deck is kind of similar to the list I run, except I only run 2 peel off, they run 4, and then I run 4 of the 7 croc and then the shoe Buggy, right? So it's just 2 peel off moved to here. But other than that, yeah, this is exactly the same list I came to a conclusion to. And I think the people on the Buggy server also play lists really similar to this, right? This is your core, and then the peel off is like your tech, what you want to be spicy with, kind of picks here. See, I'm not too surprised about this. The version I played in my testing video seems strong. I guess I accidentally came up with like the near best version right away. I do think as the meta progresses, yeah, these peel offs are going to have to change depending on what it gets popular and what you need to tech against. So generically, I think peel off is a good pick just in like a Wild West meta at the moment. It's generically good into anything until you need to know like, okay, I need gravity blades actually, or I need red rocks actually into this kind of meta. But yeah, I like it. Or just, I only like it because it's confirming that I built the deck correctly. Okay, after Buggy is green, yellow, Law. After this, I'll just look at the new starter deck leaders. Don't want this video to be too long. So green, yellow, Law has a 50% going first win rate, 48 going second. Now, I think his win rate will only climb up as time goes on. I think he's actually quite a hard deck to play. That might be what's keeping him down. But despite him being a hard deck to play, he's putting in some great results. He's a 51.9% weighted win rate and a 9.7% play rate. He seems to die to aggro. This makes sense because he has to take his own life to play out his own characters. Also dies to Bonney and Enel, and then Purple Black Luffy and Lucci. This makes sense. He can kill all of his bodies as he plays them out. But this freaking Bedge is actually quite annoying against Lucci. But I guess you don't always get this Bedge out. I don't know. But let's take a look at some deck lists for Green Yellow Law. So 260 games, 62 pilots, 47% win rate on this particular list. Ooh, only runs 1 8 cost kid. Maybe that's why he's freaking dying to aggro. They're not running the cards that protect you against aggro. And only 3 of the 7 Law. Wouldn't you run more of this? Like, I don't know. This explains why he has such a bad matchup into Zoro and Bello Betty and stuff, right? You only have 3 of your heal targets, only 1 of your wall. You're running 3 of the Bonnies to freeze the big things from your opponent, and then 1 room only. I saw people running more of this just because this Kid and Killer gives you that Dawn always. And then that lets you use this Blocker Law twice. Only 8 2Ks. So yeah, this completely explains why it dies to aggro. Because he's balls to the wall 4 Hoodie, but then like 8 2Ks and then no defensive staying power here. Is this how everyone's running it? Let me look at the second Green Yellow Law list. Yeah, 3 Hoodie, 1 Kid. I don't know. I feel like I had more success running more of a Fortress Kid kind of playstyle for this leader, but could be wrong. Right? I didn't really put too much time into him in OP10, so I trust these guys more than I trust my own testing with this leader. Okay, who else is new? Oh, Nami's new. Let's take a look at Nami and then Yamato and then Blackbeard to cap it off. I'll just pre-open these tabs. I have them open with my browser bar. Okay, yeah. So Nami seems to have a under 50% win rate going first or second, but weighted win rate of 50% just because of her play rate. What is she good into? She's good into Katakuri, Smoker, Yamato, Bonney, Lucci, Bello Betty, and Blackbeard, and then dies to Purple Luffy, Zoro, Shanks. Yeah, dies to what you would expect is popular in OP11, and then gains some weaknesses in Buggy and Purple Black and Green Yellow Law. So I don't think we're going to see too many Namis, unless Nami's figure out a deck list that's good into this kind of meta. Let's take a look at what they're brewing though. So 60 aims, 17 pilots, 41% win rate. Oh, they're playing the 6 cost. Ugh, come on. I don't like this card in this deck. Everything else is pretty standard, right? The 4 Cavendish, 4 Kikunojo. But they run the Teach tech. Yeah, Nojiko pudding is one of my favorite things to do in this particular deck. But yeah, this is such a toolbox deck, right? That I think once the meta solidifies, Nami's deck is going to change a lot to counter the particular meta. Yeah, there's Nami. Okay, Yamato has a 50% going first win rate, but 44% going second win rate. Get into Katakuri, Kobe, Blackbeard, Bello Betty, and then dice to pretty much everything else. Unfortunately, dang, I really wanted this starter deck to be good. But who knows, maybe people are yet to figure out a list, but it looks like they're running the starter deck cards at least, right? They're all here in the starting hands. Let's take a look at some decks. 745 games, 199 pilots, 41% win rate. This one has an above, well, this one has a 70% win rate, but like a factor of what? I can't do math right now. Like 12 times less games? We'll take a look at the one that has the most plays on it. Oh, interesting. It's like a weird ratio of cards. They're running Denjiro and then 4 Izo, 2 Onami. Why is everyone playing this list? Why is it so popular? Did some other YouTuber make this list and everyone's just copying them? Or some pro player? I don't know. But yeah, I do like Blaze Slice more than the Demonic 9 Aura, Demon, whatever freaking card. It's just weird. 2 Neko and 2 Denjiro. Why not just 4 Neko? Right? I don't know. I don't think I like this list. Let's take a look at the second one. Okay, I think this one is more in line with what I expect. Right? I do like the Mihawk actually. I run Mihawk in my list just because it can cheat out Kinemon, Neko, and Basil Hawkins as well. Now I'm trying out 4-4 on the Onami and Izos as well, just to get that double banish. Ashura Doji I think is really great too in this particular kind of banish deck. And then 2 5-cost Momos. This one's like still up in the air for me, but yeah, again I do like the Blaze Slice over the demonic long ass name. Okay, that's Yamato for you. Let's take a look at Blackbeard. So Blackbeard, there were a few cards in his deck that I wasn't sure would make it into the final deck or not, and then I didn't know enough about Blackbeard to say one way or the other, but yeah, it looks like he does well into Green Yellow Law actually. That's really interesting. I thought he would be like too aggressive for Teach, but looks like it's not. Good into Shanks, good into Kobe, good into all the on-play decks basically. Good into Bonney as well. But yeah, dice to aggro, like the Rush Zoro and then the Rush Luffy from Green Purple. Cannot stop Blue Purple's ramp. And then gains weaknesses to Yamato and Buggy. That really does change things, right? These are 2 more weaknesses that he didn't have before in OP11 in Japan. Okay, let's take a look at some deck lists then. So 563 games, 134 pilots, and 44% win rate. And this is what you guys came up with. Yeah, doc queues back in. If you see from my testing videos, I tried a doc queue list. I felt like I really do need doc queue back in the deck. Doc queue and the 7-cost Teach, so I like this ratio, 2-3. And Caribou, I forgot this guy existed, so my bad. And then they run 10 2Ks. I run 12 in mine. I didn't know 10 2Ks was the way to play in Teach. But I know now. And then yeah, I think Vasco Shot is nice to have too, actually. Only 2 of the Kuzan, so they split the blockers 2-2 this way. Everything else is pretty standard. I wonder if Black Hole's even needed anymore, but probably, right? If everyone's still running it. I just felt like, no, it's probably still good because it gets rid of a blocker, right? Even in the mirror, you can nullify your enemy 10 costs Blackbeard's blocker. So yeah, I was thinking of making changes to kind of be similar to this list, so I'm glad my intuition and my game sense was aligned with these 134 pilots. Let's take a look at a second Blackbeard list though, just to make ourselves feel more assured. Okay, so this list only runs 7 2Ks, that's 3 less, no Caribous. Heavy on the dot Q, and 4 black holes as well, heavy on that, and then 4 on the blockers. Maybe you don't even need 10 2Ks? I don't know. But I think I would have to be really comfortable with the deck first before going down that low in 2Ks, which I completely am not yet, unless I want to dedicate myself to Blackbeard. But yeah, that is a lot of decks that I just showed you. This is what day 1 of OP11 looks like on the west with the starter decks. Let me know what you guys think. Anything interesting to you guys? Again, this is your guys' performance, so I don't know if you can refute anything. If you don't think something is as bad as it is, then I don't know, it's up to you to raise the stats playing it on the sim. And yeah, we're gonna do another one of these in a week just to see how things solidify. I'm pretty sure it's biased towards the new starter decks just for now. But yeah, if you guys want to check this out yourself, again, my website, cardkaizoku.com. It's the leader rankings page here. You can get to there from the top. And then might as well check out my other features on the website. I have a bunch of things built out. I coded all of this myself, so in case you're interested, it's there. But yeah, until next time, bye.
Car D Kaizoku.